Hi everyone, it's Jenny Henderson from Chrysalis Business Support, and today in my Self-Cocoon TV episode, I am delighted to be joined by Sam Sinclair-Day, who is the head of Awesomeness at Sinclair-Day Accountants. Now, this is a title that I absolutely love. Sam and I do a lot of networking together, and every time she does her 60 seconds and introduces herself, we love hearing about the title of Head of Awesomeness. And she is awesome, which is why I've invited her on my chat today. Sinclair-Day Accountants is a locally based Worcestershire accountants. They've been going for 11 years. Sam has been working alongside her husband Andy for 7 years in the practice now, and they've been working with owner-managed businesses, helping them to obviously get their accounts and be more successful, I guess. And Sinclair-Day are very, very big supporters of the Xero system, and they are gold excuse me, I can't get my words out this morning, gold partners for Xero, and have been using that system for a lot, and really encourage all of their business owners to get on that system, because it really does help make a difference to how they can support them and help them with their accounts moving forward. So Sam, welcome this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. So as an accountant, I can imagine that the last couple of weeks have been quite busy for you guys over there in the office.
Just slightly. Slightly. So yeah, lots of information coming out, drip fed and changing rapidly. So yeah, we've had lots of updates, lots of information to read and digest, and to try and share that with our clients in a way that they can understand. Yeah. So yeah, lots of long hours.
Oh, bless you. So what type of things have been coming up? What have been the key kind of issues for business owners that you've been finding at the moment?
I think really, obviously there's all the different schemes that have been launched. So the things that we've helped with is trying to help businesses understand which schemes were for them. There was a lot of confusion initially over whether people were self-employed or employed. And it was trying to clarify, we've always known that directors are employed, but HMRC really sort of made people question that, not helped by the fact that Universal Credit class directors as self-employed when they're very clearly employed. So obviously with the launch of the job retention scheme, it wasn't clear initially that directors were going to be included. They have been, but obviously their salaries are so low that the benefits are really, really low for them. And some people literally have had to put their businesses on hold completely. So they really have got caught in this. And for us, it's just about supporting them and trying to point them in the right directions. And, if we can get funding through the Sybil scheme, which isn't easy, then really just trying to point them in those directions. And likewise, if it needs to be universal credit, is making that clear as early as we could so that they could get their claim in as quickly as possible.
Excellent. So just explain to everyone what the Sybil scheme is at the moment.
So the Sybil scheme is the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme. Okay. Best known as Sybil's now. So there are a large chunk of lenders who are able to provide the money to help businesses that are being affected by the coronavirus. However, the requirements to get the loans are very, very tight. The amount of information that's required is, accounts, management accounts, cash flow forecasts that vary from 6 months through to 3 years, depending on who you're looking for. The banks, the biggest issue has been that the banks are only supporting their own clients. So if you happen to be with Starling, for example, or Tide, they weren't part of the scheme. So it's really difficult then, because then you're looking at second tier lending, which has got high rates of interest. So it's been a really difficult time, and trying to support the clients and get their accounts all done so that we can help them get these applications in is it's been quite something.
I can imagine. But I guess that's where something like Xero and the online system really comes to the forefront, because obviously with self-isolation and social distancing, whereas before boxes of receipts or paperwork would have needed to be coming to your office, you know, the fact that clients can do this all online and they can get access, if they've got to react to getting information to the banks or to the lenders, I guess with all the back end systems that are now available, that makes it slightly easier if they've been doing things online.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, obviously we made a decision years ago to go with Xero, and we are exclusively a Xero practice. And I just can't believe how grateful I am for that decision, because we couldn't be doing what we're doing if we hadn't gone down that route. Yeah. You know, my team are working from home, so we operate on virtual desktops anyway, so we have no computers in the office. So everybody's working from home. Everybody can access our clients' data because obviously it's all on Xero. All of our clients use Receipt Bank, and those that weren't using it, we've given them Receipt Bank anyway now. So we can get all their paperwork uploaded, we can get their accounts done, and because Xero's in the cloud, we can look at Xero at the same time our clients can look at it, so we can be talking about the same thing and they can actually see it, so we can get them doing the reconciling if they need to finish it up, and it's just worked so well. If we were looking at desktop solutions, it just would have been horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So yes, huge bonus to it. Huge bonus.
And I think technology has come to the forefront so much during this time, you know, with Xero for being the one, but, you know, being able to jump on a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams call with a client, and then, you know, being able to share screens, you know, that actually the support is still going to be available to all the clients to get them through this period, which is, you know, fabulous.
It is. And I think our, so we've still been taking on new clients and training them on Xero.
Right.
So we've been able to obviously do that through the Zoom, as you say, and through screen sharing. Our toughest one was we took on a client who was deaf, and our plan had been obviously for him to come into the office and he would have had an interpreter with him. Yeah. But we still did it via Zoom, a three-way.
Right.
3-1. So we were able to do it. Wasn't the easiest for him. It would have been far better if he could have been in the office and could have seen the screen. But we did it, and we've got through it. So, you know, the technology is there, thank goodness. Yes, just using it to our advantage. So.
And I know your client base is spread a lot amongst a lot of different industries. Have you found that there are some industries that are continuing to do well and keep moving forward, and then there's a great swathe of others that are just completely and utterly, that's it, we can't cope? You know, is there a clear definition, or is there a mix of the two?
It's really interesting. So there are obviously the construction guys. So I've got some that are still working. They're still on site because they can exercise social distancing. So if they're on new build sites, for example, the biggest challenge that they face, though, has been the fact that the suppliers, like Travis Perkins, shut their doors. Wow. So they're struggling to get supplies. Yeah. However, they're reopening, interestingly now. Bradford's in Worcester never closed.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
It is really interesting as to quite what happened there. Yeah. So that impacted a lot of the construction guys. But so some, like the plumbers and everything, they're still doing the emergency call-outs where they can get parts. But then if I look at the creatives that we've got, it hasn't been consistent. I've got some creatives that do, they both sort of do PR, marketing type things, and some have furloughed their staff because their work has dropped off, and others where they haven't furloughed them at all and they've got more work than ever. So I think it very much depends on their client base as to who they're working with, because I think a lot of businesses have taken this as an opportunity that actually I really need to market myself and keep my name out there. And, you know, I'm going to use somebody professional to do this. So I'm going to get somebody services in because I really need that message to be clear. Yeah. So that I've got business when I come out of it. Whereas I think other businesses have decided to withdraw. And we'll wait and see on the impact of that.
Yeah, I noticed the other day there was a thing popped up that B&Q had started to reopen some stores, and you know, the queues outside. So obviously people, that helps the builders and the small owner managed plumbers, electricians to get their stock again. But you know, obviously people who are furloughed and working from home, they've got all the home improvements that they can be starting to do.
Absolutely.
The lists that we'll do that next time. It's actually no, this is the time that we should be doing it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I think it's really interesting that the idea behind the lockdown obviously was to protect the NHS. It wasn't to stop the economy completely.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the bigger businesses closed their doors, and actually they probably could have found ways to stay open. I know that B&Q have put the perspex barriers up at the tills. Okay, it took time to get those made and to get that, I guess, and now they've realised that, you know, this lockdown could go on longer.
Yeah.
So they need to get back open and get those things happening. It's just perhaps a shame that they hadn't thought those things through from the start. But I suppose at the time they thought it might be a 3-week, quite literally 3-week shutdown, and then we'd all be back to normal, which clearly isn't going to happen. So, but it's good to watch businesses adapt and change, which is what businesses do. And I think the thing is that being a small business, you've got far more flexibility to make those changes so quickly. You know, the big customers like B&Q, the big guys, you know, it takes a board of people to make that decision. Whereas if you're a small hardware store, you can adapt and change what you're doing and do deliveries and everything so quickly, that I think it's a real opportunity for some of the smaller independent stores to really come through and show the value of using independent businesses.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. I think it's, you know, it's almost kind of like we hit a pause button for a little bit. And I think that pause button allowed, as you said, the NHS maybe just to get themselves sorted, for them to know where they are. But for a business to actually look and say, okay, let's to use this and take this time as an opportunity for me just to look and see if I could put a pause button, where would I want to take it next? When the button's unreleased and we can move forward again. Am I going to move forward in exactly the same way, or could I move forward with another arm to my bow and have 2 strings and 2 avenues that I could be marketing to and have opportunities to speak to my customers? So
absolutely, life will never be the same again. It's going to be very, very different. It's going to be a very different world when we come out of this. And I think it'll be the businesses that have been that ability to change and willingness to change and look at different ways, I think we'll come out of it far stronger. But, you know, one of the things that we've looked at, we haven't really used Zoom much before. We've used it occasionally. But now, you know, I really love it. So when we used to use it, I felt very uncomfortable about talking to somebody that was on the screen. And now we've just had to do it. Yeah. And actually I look at it and think, you know, how much travel time do we save?
Absolutely.
You know, we can be far greener.
Yeah.
You know, the impact that we've had on the climate and our environment with what we've done has just been phenomenal, and it shows how quickly we can reverse some of the damage that we've done. And I think it'd be really nice if perhaps we don't go back to, you know, quite so many cars on the road, and if people can find a way of working and doing Zoom meetings and maybe not coming into the office to work every day, but maybe a couple of days a week, maybe our lives will be far better for it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's, you know, I kept saying to people that, you know, a couple of weeks back, when we go back to normal, how are we going to be doing this? And I've had to stop using the phrase going back to normal, because as you said, there is no normal anymore. No. We're not going back to what we were. And you know, there's 2 questions that then pop into my brain, which is like, well, why would we want to go back to why we were? Because, you know, the way that things have happened, you know, I did an article on my Chrysalis page yesterday about community. You know, the community feel that has suddenly got together, people are banding together, supporting each other, is so strong now that I think we'd lost sight of a little bit of that. And again, within business, we, you know, the networking that we do has been moved online. And, you know, the first couple that we ran, everybody was so pleased that they were able to get into a room, even if it was a virtual room, to see the people that they normally speak to and have that support or ask for advice, and just know that everybody was around to be there to support them. And you know, that was hitting an emotional chord that I think were people needing at the time, and being that support. So yeah, it's, you know, you're absolutely right. There is no going back. With the new way of moving forward is a new way of moving forward, and it's about embracing that and how you can take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
So what advice? So if you were to say to someone, okay, this is my advice that I would say to you right at this moment, that, you know, either in order to, you know, just keep going and keep moving forwards on it, or this is the new long-term change that you could be looking at. This is an opportunity for you to do at this moment in time, which doesn't affect the short term, but actually could be a medium and long-term gain for you as a business owner.
I think there are a couple of things. I think one, obviously, is to be on top of your numbers. So the businesses that are on top of their numbers knew far more quickly that they needed funding, or that they weren't going to need funding, than businesses that have no idea how they're performing. And I think it also gives you an idea that, you know, some businesses, if they're on top of their numbers, they knew whether they've actually had a downturn. Sometimes what we feel versus what is happening in reality are two very different things. And actually seeing the numbers makes you see that. And that's one of the things we love about Xero, is that we can compare directly, you know, 1 month with that month last year and the year before. So you might think you're having a really bad time, but you can look back and say, actually, I'm doing better. Brilliant. So being on top of your numbers is so key. Now it is more so than it's ever been. So, and there's never been a bigger reason either to move across to cloud accounting. So definitely I would encourage those things, definitely. But the other thing is also it's an opportunity, like you said, to review your business and look at where it's going and what you want from it. This has opened up so many new opportunities that people can sit back and think, actually, you know, I could adapt my business to do this. I can go into doing this. And people are offering much wider services than they've ever done before, and they're delivering them in a very different way. And why shouldn't that carry on once this is over? So I think those are the piece of advice I would really give is, you know, think about how you do business and how you want to do it going forwards. As I said to you, you know, with directors furloughing their company, being furloughed from their companies, some of them we've advised them very clearly not to, because you can keep marketing your business and building stuff up when this is over, but actually think about how you can adapt your business. And you know, those things are just so key at the moment. And also I think the biggest thing actually is actually having the time. We thought foolishly that we would have time. I drew up a list when this started. We drew up a plan of what we were going to achieve over the 4 weeks, because obviously we were in lockdown, so we were going to be at home, we thought, with nothing to do. Who knew? And I came up with this beautiful plan of all the work I was going to do on my business that I haven't had a chance to do, and other businesses will actually have the chance to get on with that. I haven't, because unfortunately I needed to sleep on my hours off. So but it is a great opportunity to suddenly do all those things you've ever wanted to do. Put capsule in place, you know, put those systems and processes in place that you know need to be there. You've actually got that time and opportunity to get it clear and get it working. And I have like I said, I have a beautiful list of, and I have done, too bad, we have done some. We did a wonderful webinar, and I have started work on capsule. I just haven't quite finished it. But
well, at least you got the list. That's the key thing.
At least
if you've got the list, it doesn't matter, because you can just keep knocking it off as and when, but at least the list is in place. Whereas if the list was still up here, it could get changed and moved around. So
exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. I was exactly the same. I was thinking, brilliant, my website, I could get more blogs done, I could get this done, I could you know, where does time go? You know, it's kind of like, you know, the weeks suddenly still disappear underneath us as quickly as they did before. But
they do.
Oh, bless. But that was great. Cool. So make sure you know your numbers and use this time to think about how you can adapt, change, and move your business. And I absolutely agree. The one fabulous thing about small business and owner managed companies is that we are able to adapt and change very, very quickly. And, you know, it's about thinking outside the box, you know, looking at those opportunities, you know, taking advice from people. Reach out to your accountant, reach out to your support network and ask people for, what do you think I should do? And you know, this is, again, see this as the opportunity that it is here for us to be able to continue and come out of this stronger and, you know, get the longevity of our businesses as we continue throughout the rest of the year and beyond. So Sam, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I've really enjoyed it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
You guys have enjoyed it too. I hope you've got a lot of great information from this. As I mentioned, Sam Sinclair-Day, Sinclair-Day Accountants, head of Awesomeness. If you are not connected with her, please make sure that you do on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. Sam's been doing some amazing videos as well. So she's been doing some daily updates that are all available. So look out for those. Again, there's some great content in all of those. I'll pop their details in the comment boxes below. And if you have any questions, I'm sure she'd be happy for you to contact her. Excellent. Thank you so much. And I will take care, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.